Well, hello folks. Welcome to the Prepared Homestead. I think we are live. Let me see if I can add a little bit more light. I don't know if that's going to help. Probably not. Maybe not. This is probably good. So for those of you watching this in the replay, you get to see this little part. I think we will start seeing people kick in here in just a moment that are watching us live, chiming in. Well, it's been a good day off, a good Shabbat, but if at least for us. But the truth is things are looking pretty crazy around the world. So we'll cover some of that stuff here in just a moment. But I wanted to just welcome everyone to the show and see if there's anyone even out there. I don't even know if I'm live yet because no one's chiming in. No one's saying anything. This is unusual. So we'll see if, oh, there we go. We got someone saying hello from Knesset. Shalom, brother. Torah Bob is on here. All right. Now, now it's just like a snowball. See, that's how it goes here on this. The live streams, I don't know if they've done something different. I've noticed other guys that live stream, it's the same way. Like when they start off, they don't see anyone in the chat. There's like no one there. And then all of a sudden it's a snowball. And so it's strange because it used to not be that way. It used to be when you hit the live button, you were pretty much live. So welcome to everyone. I see you all now. And someone says had to get past the commercial. So they're putting, I didn't think that they did commercials before live streams. So I'll have to check on the settings. I don't think I have it set that way. But anyways, welcome everyone to the show tonight. Decided to get on here and do a little live stream. I don't know how long I'll be on here. And if I get a radio call, I may have to get off of here. So we'll see. But welcome everyone to the show. And I'm probably not going to go back and see all of these because there's a whole bunch of comments saying hello. So I can't keep up. I'm not that fast. Welcome everyone. For those of you that missed, we had a really good, relaxing Shabbat today, which was really needed. It's been several weeks now of just very high-paced, high-stress, high-energy, fast-paced busyness. And honestly, it's gonna get busier for us here locally. There's so many things that's going on, good things that's going on, and so it was a very good blessing to be able to kind of have a day to just chill and relax and spend time with family and reflect on why we even are here and why we're doing all this. And I'm not talking about the prepping stuff. I'm talking about life, and who we're here for and what we're supposed to be doing, all that kind of stuff. But thank you all for stopping in. So I'd mentioned when I first started this, in case some of you didn't see it, apparently, according to the news, things are looking pretty nasty when it comes to what's going on in the Middle East. Yeah, storms are coming. Cold lifestyle prepper. You said it right. Behind enemy lines in Colorado. I used to go to Colorado a lot when I was younger. My uncle owned a place in Colorado, and so I was blessed to be able to go out there with him often. But I haven't been in years, and I will tell you, Colorado, I've been to most of the states, and Colorado, as far as beauty, it's got to be right up there in the number 1, 2, or 3 spot. But you're right, the politics is unfortunate. But anyway, so the stuff in the Middle East, yeah, it's all in the Bible, Randy says, is not looking good. According to what I saw today in the news, the United States and Israel both agree or believe that this big attack from Iran and all of its allies is probably going to come on Monday. Now, I don't know if that means Monday our time or Monday their time, because Monday their time would be tomorrow, like afternoon or so. But either way, it's coming soon. It almost has to. And I'm not saying that I want it to. Okay, that's not what I'm saying. It just, the way things have happened, It just almost has to. For the last couple of days, Israel has been bombarding various targets in Syria and Lebanon, trying to soften up things, but yet at the same time, all of those are doing the same thing to Israel, trying to use up Israel's munitions. Let's see, J954, hold on, it just disappeared. Number one prepping we must have, the word of the Lord. Absolutely 100% agree with you. And then there's reports that large Russian military cargo planes are just a constant flow into Iran. The belief is that it's Russia bringing lots of weapons, and Russia has said, listen, America, you've been supplying our enemy, well, now we're going to start supplying your enemy. So yeah, it's going to get bad. Romans 10:9 is what I just saw that flash up, is what Washburnability says. And Luke 21:36 says future millionaire. So yeah, I believe that too. I believe that we're watching biblical events happen. Yeah, and Duchess says that I saw that Iran admitted today that they do have a nuclear weapon, which most of us have suspected. I've seen for a long time now, people have been saying, yeah, they actually do have one. Constitutional Stacker, hey brother, how's it going? But yeah, Iran admitted today that they do have a nuclear weapon. So things are not looking good. Getting ready to pop off, says Charles Tucker. I would guess, and I'm not a betting man, and I'm not someone that plays the stocks and all the markets and stuff, but I would guess that Monday we're going to see probably a really bad, rough day in the markets. Now, Friday was a really rough day. Lots and lots of money was lost. I saw something like the top elites or the richest people that play the markets lost, like few $100 billion or something in the stock market, or their wealth went down. Intel, a certain company, a tech company, they lost a lot. All the tech stocks lost a lot of money. And so things were really rough Friday, if you didn't notice, in the stock market. But I would just suspect that it's going to be like that come Monday. So I would get ready. A day's wage for a loaf of bread is coming. Amen, Polly. Stocks. The stocks are on sale, kids. I put $200 in for a Constitutional Stacker. You're right. I mean, you could look at it that way. It could be a time to buy. Again, I'm no expert when it comes to stocks, but I think you can still make some money. But for those of you that have it invested, like you're the long-term investor, you have it for your retirement, that kind of stuff, yeah, it could get a little iffy for you. From the Florida Keys there. So, yeah, so there's a lot of stuff going on. London, I don't know if you saw that. England is doing really, really rough. It looks like a civil war is all out happening. I'll get to that here in just a second. So it's basically, there's a sort of civil war going on in England between English patriots and Muslim immigrants, and the government is siding with the Muslim immigrants, and it's becoming very violent. It started off as just riots and protests and stuff like that, and now it's becoming quite violent. There's been a lot of stabbings, a lot of attacks. They're now some of the Muslim immigrants now, they're forming patrols, and they're going around and they are patrolling neighborhoods, trying to, and there's video of them saying that they would that they're on the patrol to attack and find English patriots. So that's happening. And then Venezuela, yeah, it looks like it's about ready to pop off too, because of this election. Morado, I believe is how it's pronounced, he has claimed victory, and he's going to stay in power and everyone's pretty certain that it was a fraudulent election. It's interesting how many of those fraudulent elections happen nowadays, but anyways, that looks like that's about ready to pop off. So there's just stuff going on all around the world right now. Let me switch over. Maduro, yeah, that's right. Not Morado, Maduro. Money can't buy what most important. It'll soon be a thing. Past barter trade, absolutely, you're correct. Thousands on the way here before Trump gets elected. Yeah, there's a whole lot more. There's been video of lots and lots of illegals headed to the U.S. border. So yeah, that's going to get worse. Let's see. Watching from Loretta Lynn's ranch. Well, that's kind of cool. There are Cuban troops involved in Venezuela. I've seen or heard rumors of that. So Dominion voting has its roots in Venezuela. Numerous towns all over England. Yep. Love your videos. Thanks for keeping us the info. You're very welcome, BB. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities and against powers and the rulers of darkness in this age, against the spiritual hosts of wickedness in the heavenly places. You know, I just read that whole passage. Was it this morning or yesterday morning? I don't remember. Maybe it was this morning. But there in Romans. I live in the middle of the woods. Immigrants are everywhere. Box stores are full of customers, employees. Yeah, it's getting bad, folks. It's getting bad. Let's see, the comments are coming in quite fast. Let's hear some good news, says Moose Run Coffee. Well, you know, if you guys want some coffee, you could go to mooseruncoffee.com. That's some good news. You know, as far as good news, I think the good news, we as individuals, we are making that, and we have to make that good news. And I do hear good news all the time. What is it? It went away. Oh, the good news is we are aware and knowing all the time of the corruption. Absolutely. The thing is the good news. You're right. One of those things is that we're figuring things out. We're learning it. We're aware of what's going on, and so that we're able to kind of stay ahead of the curve and you know, get ourselves more prepared. But I think also the good news is that there's a sort of revival in a not just a spiritual sense. I know that term revival is always used in kind of a spiritual, you know, revival, but I think there's also a revival in people returning to kind of the simpler things and to our roots, and realizing that that we have to have other people around us, that we have to have that community, that the stuff that's going on, there's so many things. It's not like we're just prepping for one thing, right? We're prepping for a lot of stuff. And because of how it's going on, we need each other. We need the Father in heaven. We need to get our hearts right with the Word. And I'm not talking about just Bible. Here, I've got one right here with me, just so that, you know, there we go. We're not talking about just this as the Word. We're also talking about the Word. Most of you know what I mean. Yeshua, the Word, Jesus Christ. We have to get ourselves right with that. But I'm seeing a revival of people just returning to those spiritual roots, and those roots of where we came as patriots, as Americans, simpler ways, more self-sufficient, and then community. Around here where I'm at, I hear it all the time, of people talking about how, you know, the world is in a bad place. Even the people, I mean, there's definitely kind of like the mindless zombie of the, you know, part of the population, right? You know who I'm talking about. And that can be left or right. I mean, there are people that are as conservatives as can be, but they're just the mindless zombies too. They're not paying attention to anything that's going on. And then there's the next kind of level, people that know, or at least they have a good idea what's going on. They have a good idea that the world's falling apart, but they're not really doing a whole lot about it. Well, a lot of those people that live around us, live in this area, they're waking up too. Like, they know that the world is bad. They know that things are awful. They know that there's darkness, that there's evilness, that the spiritual warfare is becoming very intense and very real. And so they're starting to wake up in that area. And I see so many people, and because of that they're waking up to the spiritual stuff, they're also seeing more and more what's happening in the world of how this isn't just a normal little cycle, right? This is not just a normal little, oh, well, you know, things were good for a while, now they're bad for a while, and then they'll be good again. This is different. This is very serious, and a lot of people are starting to see that. So there are good things going on out there. Thankfully, I see good things all the time, and sometimes we have to find them. It's kind of like when we're down about stuff. I know I'm getting on a soapbox here for a second, but just bear with me. It's kind of like when we get down about stuff, you know, things aren't going right in our life. And I'd say that most everyone listening right now has had a point in their life that's like that. Maybe it's right now that, you know, the car's broken down. Every time you turn around, something's going wrong with it. You know, no one's getting along in the family. There's always something that's broken. You don't have any money. You know, there's always problems. You're sick. There's always something, right? We all go through those periods of life that things just seem bleak. They just seem bad. And when we go through those periods, that's when we need to be stronger. That's when we need to stand up and say, I'm going to find my happiness today. You know, when we wake up in the morning and it just, like, not another day of misery, another day of sadness, another day of, you know, bad things happening. We have to find that happiness. And that's really similar to what's going on in the world today. The world is evil. It's dark. It's falling apart. There's horrible, horrible things happening. But there's still good out there, and sometimes we have to look for it. We have to find it, and if we can't find it, then we have to make it. We have to make it happen. And as believers, I think that's still a big part of our mission. When Jesus, when he talks about surviving and enduring to the end, I think that's part of it. It's not just the endurance; it's continuing to spread his word to the world. So anyways, there, I'll get off my soapbox for a moment. I'll go back to the comments. Let's see. Civil War, pretty solid movie. Definitely more practical drama style filming. Brings up some 2020 points when the division started. I've yet to see that. I still may watch that new movie. I mean, it's not brand new now, but it came out this year. Love reading Bible, reading Matthew chapter 3 today. Amen. I'm grateful to wake up every day. People selling whole home systems, solar systems, say no. I know, you know, boy, don't get me on that soapbox, solar systems. I think solar systems can be great, but I think they can also be some of the biggest scams. Solar systems, solar battery systems, those solar generators, they can be good, they can be helpful, but you can also get taken by them. Jalapeno Pepper says, are you on call tonight? I am on call. I have my radio. I have my radio in the truck right now, and it is on. So it almost slipped my mouth. Ugh. It's been man, you know, if you've ever been in the fire, police, EMS, you know you can't say that it's been a SLOW day, but just saying that. I don't want to make things get crazy here in a minute. Hello from Western New York, Tom says. Welcome to the show tonight. Moose Run Coffee is going on vacation. Now, they're just a small family business, so what that means is that while they're on vacation, they're not going to be able to make coffee. So if you want coffee, you probably should stock up on it now so that you have it ahead of time. While we're mentioning stuff, the coffee, Grafted and Grace Creations, and I don't normally have soap in my car, right? But anyways, their brush fire soap, I have started using that, and I really like it. It's got a nice, manly, spicy kind of smell to it. And if you buy the brush fire soap, I think it's 15% of the sales go back to our fire department. So there, you're purchasing the best soap on the planet. And yeah, I'm sure you keep soap in your car, Grafted and Grace Creations, but I don't normally. But you're buying the best soap you can buy, and you're also helping out our rural volunteer fire department. So there you go. Let's see, 28 years as a police officer, there are only 2 days that I didn't get a call for service. I used to work in a busy department like that, and it's funny because, out here it's rural. We cover a large area. Actually, we're one of our rural fire district it's one of the largest. It may be the largest square mileage wise in the whole state for a rural volunteer fire department. But there's days that nothing happens, and then there's days that everything seems to happen, and that is different, thankfully, because I'm volunteer. This is not my full-time job, but back when I did it as a full-time job in law enforcement, I understand there was, it's nonstop, but that was working in a big department, so I guess that's understandable. Let's see. Yes, great soap, love it, says Living Soil. Edward says, right now I just got done filling my gas tank as much as I would hold, anticipating the Middle Eastern festivities kicking off pretty soon. Right, and we were talking about that when I came on here. You might have tomorrow before things start getting kicking off good. Now, I don't want anyone panicking. I don't want anyone going crazy and thinking, oh my goodness, I've got 24 hours before the world ends. No, I don't think that's the case. I mean, I know it's possible. It's possible this whole thing could go nuclear. It's possible that this could spiral out of control. And I say that because it's become pretty apparent that the Biden administration isn't trying to slow it down. I think they want it, they need it, and it's going to be beneficial to them. But it could also drag us into it deeper. We've sent 4,000 Marines over there. We've sent at least a dozen ships, a few fighter squadrons, and I'm sure a bunch of other stuff over there already. And it's going to continue to happen. Russia's sending a bunch of equipment there, and there's a whole lot of movement, I think it's becoming more and more unlikely that whatever's going to happen is, I think it's unlikely that it's going to be small. I know in the beginning, a lot of us were like, well, even myself, maybe this will just be like the last time. It's still possible, but I think it's becoming less likely. I do think it's a good idea to go out and fill up gas tanks, not because there won't be gas come Monday, but because gas prices are going to go up. Very, very likely that gas prices could spike. Usually any kind of stuff that happens in the Middle East, even if oil, that's the thing, even if like the oil per barrel doesn't go up, just the prices at the pump initially will go up. So it's very possible that come Monday morning, you could see an increase in fuel prices. So if you can go tomorrow and fill up, at the very least, you've saved a little bit of money. Stock up on some things if you need to. Make sure your water containers are filled, all that kind of stuff that I tell you all the time. But honestly, I don't think that's going to be necessary tomorrow, okay, or Monday. I think the immediate things that's going to affect us is maybe your money, investments. You know, if you have stuff in the stock market, things like that. And then depending on the severity of what goes on, and depending on how much involvement the United States is in on this, I think that will start to depend on whether we will start seeing attacks here at home, right? So these cells, these sleeper cells of terrorists and stuff that they've been telling us for years all exist, still exist after 9/11. They never went away, all this kind of stuff, that they're still around. Are they going to, you know, are they going to go active? At least some of them. Are we going to see cyber attacks? I think that's the most likely thing that we'll see, but actual physical attacks, I mean, look at what's going on in England right now. Could that start happening here? 100% it could. I'm not saying it will, I'm saying it could. So those are the kinds of things that we need to start preparing for. But yeah, I'd say if you don't stay up all night tomorrow night, by Monday morning things are going to be, you know, stuff's going to be happening over there a lot more than it has. And the thing is I want to mention this, and again, I'm not rooting for the opposition. I'm not rooting for Iran or anything like that. I want to try to stay neutral when I'm talking about the news itself. When I do the commentary, that's different. This all started because Israel assassinated several people, right? Well, they've assassinated a couple of more since those initial 3 assassinations, and they have been bombarding Lebanon and Syria and other areas. So, and I'm not saying that they're right or wrong either way, but it's causing just more anger. The reports is that Iran has never been this angry, that the Ayatollah, the supreme leader, is furious. He won't speak to anyone about, you know, backing down or anything. That they don't want to even begin to talk about any kind of peace negotiations, that they're just all on it in attack mode. And so if all those things are true, you know, then yeah, it could be pretty bad. Someone just said, let Bibi fight his own war. I'm not necessarily opposed to that. I'm not, but they've also been, the news is reporting that Israel has been talking with Egypt, Syria, not Syria, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, I think the UAE, a couple of other countries that are allies with Israel. They've been talking to them, trying to almost build a little, you know, group of allies there that they hope might help defend them. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen. So, but the bottom line is I think it's going to be crazy. So yeah, it looks like Monday is when that's going to happen. So let's see. Great Britain is in bad shape. Yep, it's going to get bad unless you're in flood zone. Don't know what that was about. My wife's talking to someone. See, I get to talking, and then I don't pay attention to what's going on. Oh, are you guys talking about the tropical storm in Florida? You guys paid much attention to that? Florida bearded woodworker says he's in Florida and was playing in the wood shop because it's finally cool enough. Storm something, it just went past me. How's Rivka? She's in the chat. My wife is in the chat. I mean, she's doing better, but still struggling. You know, nothing has been finalized. She's been seeing a new doctor and starting to see some improvement. It's a naturopath, a nurse practitioner that does naturopathic stuff. So, Sandy said something about a U.S. spy balloon that was shot down. That one I don't know about. I didn't see that. I don't know if there was another spy balloon that got shot down, but it wouldn't surprise me. Florida has been getting this weird, I'm going to sneeze here in just a second. It's a live stream, so I can't cut that out. This weird pop-up kind of tropical storm. I don't know if you noticed that. It almost looked like it's almost started over land. Not quite. It started kind of out in the Gulf, but it's a little bit more unusual. Usually they kind of start way out in the Atlantic and kind of build up speed, and you know, they know about it days in advance, and this one didn't happen that way. Someone says that there were 3 strange balloons over Tulsa yesterday. Well, the sneeze kind of went away, I think. I think I fought it off. As a modern day country, Israel is not very religious. That's 100% true, Dan. I agree with that. Someone asked about the dog that I found. I did talk about that a couple months ago. He did finally pass away. He didn't, you know, he was very old, had a lot of problems, but he did pass away. But we gave him lots of love, and his last few months of life was really good, because it was very apparent when we got him that he had been really severely abused. But he did pass away. Yeah, Ralph the dog. Yeah, he had a good last few weeks of his life, so there. I called out the sneeze, and that always kills the sneeze. COVID is running rampant where I live, Chris says. Oh, and that's the other thing, the whole bird flu. Well, there was a country I was hearing, they were talking, there's several countries right now that this H5N1 bird flu they're talking about, oh, there's multiple cases, and, you know, people are getting sick. And the World Health Organization is talking a lot about it. So, you know, are we really going to see that happen this year? Possible. So, yeah, that's also something you should probably be prepared for. I've been talking about the whole H5N1 bird flu and stuff, and preparations more over on Locals. I do not anymore talk about natural health herbs, supplements, things like that you can take for those kinds of things here on YouTube, because they absolutely won't allow me. They have the last strike that I got, the last time that my channel was suspended, was due to a video that I had released like a year and a half prior to that. So it'd been out for like a year and a half, and then they gave me a strike and suspended my channel for 2 weeks or a week or whatever it was. And it was because of something I had said natural health wise. So you're not going to hear me give any kind of opinions on that on here. But if you go over to my Locals channel, which is the preparedhomestead.locals.com, you can listen there, and I'll talk to you about stuff over there that works and that doesn't work for me, and you know, stuff that I have heard from other people and personal experiences. I'm no doctor. I'm an herbalist. I'm a trained herbalist, but went through a very good herbalist school, and then studied underneath a master herbalist for a while. Let's see. Bird flu, why aren't they killing ducks, geese, and robins? Doesn't pass the sniff test. Yeah, but there's been more talk about it in the last few days. Several other countries are now, you know, claiming that they're getting all these. And then I saw something the other day. There's a case that they're investigating that they believe it's a full-on human-to-human transfer. So basically, pretty much all the cases up to now, they're saying that the virus has mutated to where humans can contract it easily from animals, but it's not yet mutated to where it will go from human to human easily. And they're saying that now maybe that's the case. So we'll see. We will see. Please make videos of herbalist books. Florida Bearded, I have made those. And they're on Locals, and I can always make another one, but that's something I don't know what it is. And it's weird because I know that there are channels on YouTube that are herbalist channels. My wife and I and some of our friends and stuff, we've often commented, like, I can make a video that's almost identical as another video on YouTube when it talks to talking about herbs. But you know, theirs is still up and mine gets taken down. And it's happened over and over and over and over again. They either just take it down and remove it, or I will get a strike. There's always something. And so I've just, as much as I hate it, I like doing herbal videos. I like talking about books. I like talking about remedies and stuff, because it's kind of my little hobby thing and some stuff that we do here in the community in our home. But yeah, I don't do it on YouTube. So hope the bird flu doesn't hit the deer population. I've been hunting for 50 years. I know. The whole bird flu thing is crazy. Again, that's also something that you can't talk about too much on YouTube. It's just ridiculous. But I mean, there's a lot of they're having a lot of talk about it. Several other countries, like I said, and it's, you know, spreading here and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, could we go into this election and have a crazy election that's going to be stolen or going to be manipulated or something? You know, it's not going to be normal. We got a big war happening, a pandemic, and then possible, at the very least, a very hard-hitting recession. I think it's very possible. Look at it this way. If the plan is for Kamala Harris to be the president, if that's the plan, then you know that they're going to have to pull out every possible thing they can to get her to win, right? I mean, so at this point, if that's the plan for these elites to have her as the president, then I think that there's nothing that's off the table of possibilities of what could happen between now and November. That's just my opinion. How's the firehouse and the truck doing? Florida Bearded asked it. So I'll give you a quick update on that. We are doing a yard sale fundraiser in 2 weeks for the fire station. So we got quite a ways, and the original assessment is that we weren't going to have to mess with the wiring. We were just going to add some outlets. And then we got in there, and of course, you know, we were trying to do it the cheapest way we could to a certain extent, you know, affordable way, right? And then we've realized that the wiring is just bad. We found some spots that just is bad, and to rip that part out, we might as well just rip it all out. So we're ripping all the wiring out and putting all new wiring in. But a lot of the main structure and stuff's already been done. We're just down to some of the finish work, right? And thankfully, where the wiring is, it all runs on one wall, because, you know, it's a big, like, metal building, so the wiring all ran just on one wall. So it's not like we're going through what you would see in a house and rip out all this wiring. So it's not going to be too difficult. It's just cost. So we're doing a yard sale fundraiser, bake sale fundraiser in a couple of weeks, and that will raise money for that, and then a few other things that we need. The engine, it's going good, but there's, you know, for those of you that don't know, when you're dealing with a heavy truck, big truck, heavy trucks, especially ones that are older, you can't just go down to your local auto parts store and just pick up stuff for it a lot of times. So it's taking longer, but definitely some success. Originally the problem was the brakes were locked up, and I've now fixed that. The brakes are unlocked, but in doing so, it's caused a leak in one of the brake cylinders. And so I went to have to take the rear tire off and the rear drum off, and I need to get a part. So we've got a part on the way. The floor jack, a bottle jack that we had, broke, so the chief had to run and get a new one. So it's just been a you know, cascade of events happening, but I'm hoping that this week, Wednesday, Thursday or so of this week, to be able to get in there and try to get in and actually replace the bad part. But we took it out on the road. The thing runs amazing. We filled the tank up with water, ran the pumps. Everything works perfect. You know, that truck's been sitting in that building for 5-6 years, not being used. And we ran everything, and it all worked perfect. No leaks. It was amazing. So, so yeah, so there's the update on the station and the truck. So it's been longer than we expected it to be, but it is getting close. So there. And now back to the comments. The only mutual assistance groups here in Ohio are janky militias. Unfortunately, that's so true. And I have people criticize me because of what I say about militias. I'm 100% pro militia. 100%, 110%, 1,000%. But unfortunately, so many of the militias just, I don't know. They're just not, they just don't get it. Someone asked if I believe do I believe the rapture will happen? Well, I guess that term is relative. Do I believe that we will be caught up, when Yeshua comes to take us back? Yes, but I don't think that that's happening pre-tribulation. That's from the old Schofield Bible, and was it Darby, or whatever his name. I'm not saying you're wrong for if you do believe that. That's how I grew up believing that, but I don't see that anymore. There's nothing specifically in the word that says that, but there's nothing wrong with you believing that. Someone asked how Ava, Missouri is to live in. Ava, Missouri, that area is beautiful. It's a beautiful area. You do have to be careful. Yeah, John Darby is who I was thinking of. You have to be careful. There are some, they're not necessarily like preppers or anything like that. I don't know what it is about Ava, and it's been this way my whole life living here. There are various different kind of fringy religious groups that are down there. There's a Catholic monastery, there's several other groups, and so occasionally we hear, just like the rumors and whispers of things going on that way in Ava. We do our very best. We don't go down there. We don't, we avoid it. But as far, if you don't care about that kind of stuff, and you don't plan on being involved in that kind of stuff, and you're just looking for a beautiful place that has, there's a lot of beautiful land down there, then Ava can be great. But there are some groups down there in Ava that that I would probably try to avoid. I'm trying to be as nice and diplomatic here as I can. Someone asked if we're near imminence. Not really. I think imminence is probably about an hour and a half. It's been a while since I've been to imminence, so we're not really near imminence. All right. Let's see. I'm about ready to get off here. It's usually Serenity's Asylum Acre says they're just south of Ava. Yeah, and it is beautiful. I've been to her place, and she has an absolute beautiful property. And I want to get down there again because she's been telling us. She's a good friend of mine and my wife. We're some of our best friends. She's like my sister, except she's like, if I was standing up, she's like my little sister because she's much shorter than me. But I've been wanting to get down there and see their place because I know she's been doing a lot of stuff. Her and Johnny. Let's see. Did you mention? Yes, I did. Storm chasing gal. I did mention that Russia has been supplying weapons to Iran. So this definitely looks a lot bigger than back in April when Israel bombed in Iran and Iran came over and bombed over there, and then it was all over. This definitely looks a lot bigger than that. All right. So I think I'm gonna get off. How's Elk Creek? Elk Creek is it's a beautiful area also. If the land there is a little bit more, the terrain is slightly more rugged than the area that we live in right now, but still doable. I think just from, and I don't know the actual numbers, but from driving through that area from where we live, I think there's probably less population. It looks to be more remote, more, less population. Anything about north central Arkansas, another beautiful place. You have to be careful because there are places in north central Arkansas that, these big investment companies, millionaires and stuff have come in and bought, because years ago, north central Arkansas land used to be dirt cheap. I mean, dirt cheap. I can remember 20 years ago when you could buy land there for less than 500 an acre in some places. And I remember specifically someone wrote an article or something about it, I think out east. And so there are places, these little towns that I remember going to when I was young, and a lot of the land has been bought up. So north central Arkansas can be a really good place, but you need to be a little bit more careful because, it may look like a nice little small town, and then you find out, that half the town is owned by, BlackRock or something like that. So just be careful of that. Everyone needs a 458 SOCOM. I want one so bad. I don't have a 458, but that's on my want list. I like to think that I could justify having it, but I just want one anyways, or one of those big bore AR-15s. Let's see. I don't think we should be funding other people's wars. I completely agree with that. Grandma Ginger is on here, and she is one of the sweetest people on the whole planet. I just had to throw that out. We love Grandma Ginger. Someone asked again if we still have the old dog. I'd mentioned earlier in the video, he did pass away a while back. He was old and had problems, but we gave him a really good life while he was here, which is way better than he'd probably ever had in his life based on his looks of him. We'd taken him to the vet, and she said he was maybe the worst conditioned dog she'd ever seen. She couldn't believe how bad he was. So, but we took good care of him, and he ate really well, because while he was here, everyone freaks out at this. We had a whole deer, and it was not, everyone thought, because when it was happening, people were, oh, you must be rich that you feed your dog. It was a roadkill deer. Occasionally when I come across one, or maybe a neighbor or someone, if there's a roadkill deer, and if it's probably okay, but it may be a little iffy, I usually will still bring it home, and I'll butcher it, and I'll put it in the freezer for the dogs. And so that's what we had. We had a roadkill deer that was in the freezer. And so while he lived here, my wife every few days would fix a big pot of deer stew, and that's what that dog ate. So I can promise you that dog, before he died, ate better than he had, and probably most dogs ever have in their life. So he had a good life. Let's see. All right, I am going to SG Ammo is a good place. Yes, I've bought them from them. Has World War III started yet? No, it looks like probably Monday is when it's scheduled to start. At least that's what the news is saying. PSA, Palmetto State Armory. Man, they have been running some specials. I have to be careful with this, because if you're like promoting, buying guns or something on YouTube, they don't like that. But the other, I don't know if they still have this, but it was the upper and the lower separate, so you had to buy them separately. But it was an AR-10. They're Gen 3 AR-10s, and you buy the upper, you buy the lower, and I think combined it was like $600. And I was like, what in the world? Maybe it was $699, something like that, for a Gen 3 AR-10. Yeah, they have been running some pretty awesome specials. And so, if you have it, I'd get it while you can, because World War III kicks off. If the stuff that's going on in England right now and in Venezuela right now start happening in American streets, you're going to want an extra rifle or two, and you're going to want an extra couple of thousand rounds of ammo that you don't have right now. So Just telling you, you probably should be thinking about that stuff too. All right, I'm going to get off of here. It's been a good time with all of you folks. Thank you all for being on here. You really are a blessing to us. And it's not because you watch the videos necessarily. I mean, that's a small part of it. But many of you, and you know who you are, you have been the support system for my wife and I at times, you know, talking to us, emails. Some of you we know in person. Some of you it's on the phone. Some of you it's email. And you don't know how many times that you folks have touched our lives. And it's you are really a blessing to us. And so I just want to give a special thanks to those of you out there. You know who you are, because it's been pretty amazing. Anyways, be ready. Monday is what the news is saying. Now, again, I don't know if that's Monday our time, or Monday Middle Eastern time, which is actually going to be tomorrow afternoon. But that's when they're saying that this whole Iran-Israel thing's really going to start heating up. We will see Russia's sending arms in all day today. That's what they're reporting. Planes are just one right after another. The United States has been sending stuff in, troops, ships, planes, everything. Yeah, it looks like a big old war is going to happen, and Israel's right in the middle of it. And I know what a lot of you are thinking. That's starting to sound pretty biblical. So that's why you should be getting your houses in order. And get my tongue working. You need to be preparing yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thank you all for watching tonight. You are a blessing, and have a great weekend, and get yourselves ready. We'll catch you.